Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Jennuine Life podcast, the lifestyle audio series designed to be a safe place for beautiful souls like yourself in a messy world. Welcome to your peaceful corner on the net where all are welcome to live life authentically, genuinely, and of course, unapologetically. I am your host, Jennifer Nicole, and I'm so glad to have you here with me today. Let's jump right into today's episode. Y'all. Hello. It has been forever and a day since we've last connected, and that's all I have to say. First of all, it feels good to be back behind this mic. A couple of things. I am recording in my apartment on a day that they are doing some extra banging with their construction, so you might actually hear it in the background, so I'll apologize in advance. But yeah, gosh, hi. It's been too long since we've connected. This podcast is now 2 years old. That's me clapping. Yes, I am so excited. We are now 2 years old. We're heading into season 4. This is the 37th episode. Y'all, I'm still pinching myself. I can't believe that this podcast has come so far in such what I consider to be a short amount of time. So, of course, thank you, as I say as always. But how in the world are you doing? Really doing? How are those of you without electric cars doing right now? Because I know I'm okay. Yes, totally grateful that I can put gas in the car and that I'm still able to do what I need to do. But Jesus, it is definitely knocking on the wallet door. What? These gas prices are crazy, but hang in there, and every day I just thank you, Lord, I'm able to do this and keep it moving. So just know that you all are in my thoughts. Okay. But I have missed you. I've missed recording. I've missed connecting with you all. Although many of you have stayed in touch, obviously on Instagram and LinkedIn, we're back. And I'm excited to be here. So overall, I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're maintaining your peace. I hope you're surrounding yourself and doing things with people that you love and doing the things that you love. We continue to bear witness to unprecedented times. And these are times that none of us have experience with, right? So make sure you're giving yourself some grace. And trust me when I say this, I'm speaking to myself as well, which leads me to what I want to share with you this episode. Okay? I want to talk about social media. And, I did an episode on this a while ago and had some thoughts on social media. But now times have changed and we are, slowly starting to come back out. But what I'm realizing is many of us are really, really used to not being around people, right? And so a lot of what we're doing is kind of counting on social media to be our outlet, even more so than before. But I struggle all the time with social media because, while it can serve as a powerful resource for inspiration, motivation, and all the warm fuzzies that we get from baby and puppy videos, there's still a very fierce reality going on outside of social media, both in the world and then also social media has become a place known as a fake space where we can't trust what we see. We don't know if someone's modified a picture or, we've seen some of the best quote unquote couples on social media. And then we find out 2 months later, they're divorcing, or maybe the marriage was just hell from the beginning. And we're all shocked because it's just not what was being portrayed. And so I struggle with trying to be a genuine content creator in a world where people thrive on the fake and phony, right? We kind of go to social media to escape our realities. But that on the other side of that, someone who is pressured, or they may feel pressured to uphold a certain lifestyle, because if not, they'll lose followers, they'll lose money, they'll lose whatever. I have never been anyone who cared about that. And while I want partnerships and I want to collaborate with brands, I have to stand by me, right? And I want to make sure that whatever I put out is authentic. If I don't feel like posting that day or that week or that month, I don't. And I never want the pressure of feeling like I have to because someone's paying me to. Like, I just can't do that, and I won't do it. But if you're a content creator, which I use that, I don't think I'm a content creator. I'm just someone who enjoys kind of spreading positive vibes across social media. How do I take that and now maximize it in a way where I'm reaching as many ears as possible, but also staying true to myself and not feeling drained? And so that is where I struggle with social media. Very transparent moment there. But I also, sometimes if I'm not careful, I will fall down this rabbit hole of where I feel like I'm not doing enough, right? I see someone else kind of blowing up or they're doing what they need to do. And I'm like, shoot, I just spent another weekend on the couch watching Columbo and eating pixie sticks. Like, my life is in shambles, and it's like, no, it's not. And so I really wanted to use this episode to remind you to take a break, right? Like, if you find yourself kind of looking at others, or maybe you're looking down at yourself, this is a really weird time. And I mentioned this in the beginning of the podcast. This is not a normal year. Nothing's been normal since 2020, right? So you're navigating a brand new space. You're navigating a new you, right? You don't even know. You've never spent this much time with yourself before. And so there are things that I enjoyed back in 2020 that I just don't find fulfilling anymore. And I need to find something else. So that's what I wanted to talk about, because I would say, now mind you, I have not recorded since October. I have received at least, and I mean this, at least once a week, I would receive an email, a DM, an audio message, messages on LinkedIn, text messages from someone who just shared what this podcast meant to you, what my post meant to you, what they did for you, or how you just enjoy tuning in. And it was exactly what I needed to keep going. And I say this very humbly, like, I'm not somebody, like, don't get me wrong, like, people were like beating down my DMs to send me a message, but I say that to say not to be afraid to share compliments or feedback with people that you engage with, right? If someone is taking the time to post on social media or, a podcast that you enjoy, like, it's okay. Like, tell them that you enjoy it or that you really love this episode, and it doesn't have to be anything public, right? I think for me, the moments when I did receive those messages, they were just uplifting, because sometimes you put stuff out and you're like, I don't think anybody's listening to this. And then I get a message and somebody's like, I listened to the podcast, and the best message, I mean, I get a lot of great messages, but one was someone actually, found it in them to just, what, I'm going after it. They applied for Google and they got the job, and they ended up messaging me at work. If you're listening, hello. It touched my heart in more ways than I could ever probably put into words, because I did not think, I say what I need to say and I kind of close the laptop and move on, but I forget that there are people out there who enjoy this podcast. And so when you email me, it's really cool to see. And so I just wanted to make sure I said thank you. And I can't thank you enough. And I know I say it all the time, but I'm going to say it until my face is blue, right? Just thank you. You don't know how much it means for you to engage with this podcast in a genuine way, right? This is another thing I am very big on. I don't care if only 2 people listen to this podcast. It's still great, right? To be able to connect in a genuine way with other people who are like-minded or who just help you want to be better. And so thank you all for that. I also want to tell you that it's okay to take a social media break. You do not have to announce it, right? You can just go. But it's okay. And sometimes my break means I'm not posting, but I'm creeping, right? So maybe I'm like watching friend stories or commenting on posts or just engaging with brands that I don't find stressful. But it's totally okay to take a break from social media. You could take a break from people, take a break from the news. Like, I can't tell you the last time I watched the news, and the only reason why I was on in my house last week is because my parents were visiting and my father watches it. I do not watch the news. Okay. Like, I can't. I will spend the first 5 minutes and all of a sudden I'm just like, ugh. It's draining, right? It's okay to take a break from all of those things if you're finding that your mind is feeling cloudy and cluttered, but you can't stop working toward whatever goals you have. That's the only deal, right? Take a break, take time, but don't stop. And that's where I was. I was like, okay, I know I can't stop, but I'm drained. So yeah, that's Puffy you all hear in the background. He's so ghetto. Anyway, our brains can only take so much, right? You're human. So at the end of the day, there's a lot going on nowadays. Like if you just take a moment and take inventory of everything that's going around you right now, it is crazy. And there's no way that you can expect to be the perfect employee, student, parent, sibling, friend, partner, and or spouse while completing each of your responsibilities without a bit of a burnout or hiccups along the way. I mean, it's just impossible to think that you're going to be perfect every single day, which is why you need to wake up and take it one day at a time, prioritize your day, and then kind of go that route. Because you try to take on too much, it's already a crazy world. You'll drive yourself nuts, And if someone is seemingly perfect, then I am confident when I say it's not true. Some people thrive on the appearance of perfection and living lives drastically different from what we see. And it's your job to stay in your lane, know your triggers, connect with other like-minded individuals, and stay focused on your goals. Watching someone else water fake grass while you neglect your real grass will cause yours to go brown, and theirs will still be luscious and green, but it's not real. And I know for me, I would take real grass that I have to toil and love on and be a part of all the hiccups of this grass and understand the changing of the seasons. Like that grass will grow with me, and I'll know it and I'll love it, and everything that comes out of it will be cherished because I did the work to build this beautiful lawn. I'd rather take that than artificial grass that's given to me and is fake and isn't real, right? Because all the work that you're doing to maintain fake grass is pointless. You learn nothing from it. So I just wanted to share that with you because living an authentic life is beautiful because it is unique to you. That's what makes it so amazing. It's your story, your journey. That's why everyone doesn't understand your path, and that is okay because it's not their story. It's not meant for them to get it. And that's why it's so important. And when you hear people saying, oh my gosh, like they may not have a lot, but their lives are great because they're in their own lane. And that's where I want to encourage you to be today. With all that being said, I took some time to enjoy my own company, right? I traveled a little bit, hung out with family, really focused on what I wanted this brand to be, how I'm going to show up on social media in a way that feels authentic to me. I'm tired of worrying about an algorithm. Hashtags, I'll use them, but I don't care about posting at 1:00 in the afternoon because that's when the majority of Instagram is on. I mean this with everything in my being. I'm tired of this algorithm, and my prayer is whatever I post, it lands in front of whoever is meant to see or hear it that day. That's it. And thinking this way is going to relieve a lot off my mind for sure. And I have a bad habit of wanting to go from 1 to 25 in 0.6 seconds and losing momentum very early in the game. And that's with a lot of things that I do. Yeah. I'm sure I'm not alone there, but being intentional and strategic with my time is going to allow this to continue to be enjoyable and not feel like an obligation. Because after a while, I was like, oh God, I got to get another podcast out. And it was becoming too much. And now I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to take it back to basics. I'm going to do it my way, my rules. And I think it'll just be much better, much more, me, because I'm kind of like a hippie at heart. So I'm just a free spirit, man. I just want to flow. And take stock of what is going on in your life. Whatever you do should bring some excitement to your day, right? You should walk away feeling fulfilled and not drained. And that's not even with projects, that's with people too, okay? If you're feeling drained, take that break I mentioned earlier, get centered, and get your ass to work, in the words of Kim Kardashian. If you don't know, Google it. But yeah, it's a pretty controversial thing she said this past week. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Just a few things to note. I'll be right back here next Monday where we will chat about how I got my passport in 5 hours in New Orleans. I received so many messages, I still do, about that process, and thought that I would put it in a podcast episode for you. It's super helpful, so that will be next Monday's episode. You don't want to miss it. If you did have any questions that you'd like for me to ask, you still have some time to get them over. Feel free to email me or DM me on Instagram. If you follow me on LinkedIn, thank you for participating in a poll that I did, I think like 2 weeks ago. There's a lot of responses. You know, you put stuff out and you're like, okay, y'all really responded. Okay. So based on all of the responses, I will be hosting a free Q&A Zoom call where I'll be answering questions about everything from standing out on LinkedIn, interviewing, building a strong relationship with recruiters, and, answering any questions that people tend to ask over on LinkedIn as well. So that'll be a great episode coming up, not next Monday, but the Monday after. So stay tuned for details on that. I am also creating a Facebook page for all of us to congregate and keep in touch with one another in between episodes. And in that group, I'll be starting a book club as well. That's one of my biggest goals for 2022, and that was to get back to reading. So if you want to join, make sure you click the link in my bio on Instagram. And as always, feel free to comment, like, share. What else can you do? Subscribe and or leave a review. We can't be the only ones living a genuine life, now can we? I appreciate you all so much for your support, and I look forward to chatting with you next week on Monday for another episode of The Genuine Life. In the meantime, don't forget to journal, meditate, and take deep breaths. You got this, okay? Toodles.